In a forgotten village hidden behind red dust roads and tall palm trees, there lived a girl no one wanted to name. They called her Bad Luck, Curse, Witch Child. But her true name was Anamsi. Barefoot, hungry, and small, she walked through life like a shadow. Her eyes carried a quiet wisdom far beyond her years, the kind that suffering carves into the soul. Her story did not begin with joy, it began with loss. Her mother had fallen sick when the rains failed, and her father had been swallowed by the great river. Some said he slipped, others said the river took him because the gods were angry. After that, no one came for Anamsi. No auntie opened her door, no neighbor shared food. Even in a land where everyone called each other brother and sister, no one wanted the orphan girl. They said strange things happened wherever she went. The villagers whispered that she brought misfortune, and slowly, they stopped seeing her as human. In the market, women pulled their yams close when she passed. At the stream, girls moved their buckets away from hers. When she sat beneath the mango tree, children ran off laughing cruelly. So Anamsi learned to survive in silence. She fetched water for those who despised her, swept compounds she would never enter, and carried firewood heavier than her body. Some days she went to sleep hungry. Other days, she drank Gary water and whispered to herself, "One day my life will change." But it was not hunger that broke her heart. It was loneliness. No one called her name. No one said she belonged. So she began to talk to the only things that listened: the wind, the river, and an ancient tree at the edge of the forest. The elders said the spirits lived inside that tree, but Anamsi was never afraid. She would sit there at sunset, the harmattan turning the sky red, and tell the spirits about her pain. "One day," she said softly, "I will not beg anymore. One day the world will see me." People saw her there and laughed. "This girl done craze," they said. But destiny hears the cries of those who are rejected. One night, a small boy from the village disappeared. He had gone into the bush for firewood and never came back. The sun went down and fear gripped the people. Mothers wailed, men ran with lanterns, shouting his name. The chief gathered everyone, but no one knew where to search. Only Anamsi did. She had seen the boy earlier that day, chasing a goat past the old shrine path. She stood at the edge of the crowd and said quietly, "I know where he went." They glared at her. "You again?" Someone spat, but fear overcame pride, and they followed her. Through the dark bush they went, their lanterns shaking, the night full of whispers. Then they heard it, a faint cry. The boy was alive, trapped in a deep hunting pit. The men pulled him out, and his mother fell to her knees, crying with relief. For the first time, the villagers looked at Anamsi with something like gratitude. But by morning, that gratitude had turned to suspicion. "How did she know?" they murmured. "Maybe she was the one who put him there." Just like that, rejection returned, even sharper than before. The days passed, and the dry season deepened. Then came a drought unlike any before. For 3 months, not a drop of rain fell. The riverbeds cracked, the farms turned to dust, the yam vines shriveled. Hunger crept from house to house. The chief ordered sacrifices. The elders prayed. Drums beat through the night. Still, the sky stayed silent. Fear turned to anger, and anger turned toward Anamsi. They said the gods were punishing them because she was still alive. "She is a curse," they said. "Since she came, nothing has been normal." One night they came for her. A crowd of men and women dragged her from her small hut into the village square. Lanterns flickered, faces twisted with hate. "You brought this drought," they shouted. "You are the reason our land is dying." She stood trembling, dust clinging to her tears. But before they could drive her away, the wind changed. It rose suddenly, sweeping through the square with a force that silenced them all. Dust spiraled into the air. Roofs groaned. The lantern flames bent sideways. And then, thunder rolled. Out beyond the huts, lightning flashed over one piece of land, the same farm that had belonged to her parents. Rain began to fall, heavy and wild, soaking that single field while the rest of the village remained dry. Everyone froze. It was impossible. The land had been dead for years, cursed and abandoned. But now, in the middle of a moonless night, it was being washed clean. The chief whispered, trembling, "This is a sign." By morning, people ran to see the miracle. The farm was alive, green sprouts breaking through the soil. Within days, cassava leaves unfurled, yam vines climbed, mango and pawpaw trees bore fruit for the first time in decades. The drought still choked the other fields, but Anamsi's land overflowed. People whispered in awe, "Maybe she's chosen. Maybe we wronged her." The same mouths that once cursed her now spoke her name with trembling respect. One by one, they began to bring her gifts: wrappers, food, calabashes of palm oil. The women who once hissed now called her, "my child." The men who once shouted at her now bowed their heads when she passed. And Anamsi, with her quiet eyes, gave without anger. She shared the food with the hungry, the fruit with the weak. She remembered what it felt like to starve. Word of the miracle spread far beyond the village. People came from distant towns to see the girl whose prayers brought rain. They called her the Child of Mercy. Some said an angel walked with her. Others said her mother's spirit lived in the rain that followed her. Whatever the truth was, no one could deny that her kindness healed the land. Weeks later, the chief gathered the whole village. The sun burned gold across the roofs, smoke curled from evening fires, and the air was heavy with shame. He stood before the people and spoke softly. "We wronged this child. We rejected her, and yet she fed us. From this day, no orphan will ever be left to suffer in this land again." That night they knelt before Anamsi, the same villagers who once threw stones at her, and begged her forgiveness. She looked at them, tears mixing with rain, and said nothing. Her silence forgave them. Her parents' land was declared sacred ground, named the place of return. It became a home for all who had nowhere else to go. Widows, orphans, wanderers, anyone could come there and eat. The land produced more than enough, season after season, and no one was ever chased away again because they knew the soil itself carried her spirit. Years passed, the drought ended, the river returned, and the farms bloomed again. The village grew prosperous, but they never forgot. They told their children, "If you see someone suffering and you turn away, remember what happened when we rejected Anamsi." Her story became law, her name became prayer. Even now, when Harmattan winds turn the sky red and the air smells of dust, the villagers gather beneath the ancient tree where she once whispered her dreams. They point toward the place of return and say, "There was once a poor little orphan girl everyone rejected. But grace chose her. Mercy stood beside her. And through her, the world learned compassion." Anamsi's story lives on. Not as a tale of pity, but of power. She was the stone the builders rejected, yet she became the foundation of mercy. Before her, the village was known for greed. After her, it became known for kindness. Before her, they said, "This one is not our own." After her, they said, "Everybody here is our own." The girl who once begged for leftover Gary became the one who fed the whole village. Her pain became their redemption, her tears became their rain, and her faith became their salvation. This is the story of Anamsi, the poor little orphan girl rejected by the villagers, yet chosen by grace to heal the land. If you believe in stories that remind the world of mercy and kindness, subscribe, like, and share this video, because every act of compassion